Again, training of generations. They're doing this with the junior high and middle school and elementary school kids. They're making them thumb scan to get their lunches. Training them for the cashless society. No cash allowed, getting them into the control grid.
About RFID technology. RFID is radio frequency identification. It consists of a tiny silicon computer chip and an antenna that a remote reader can scan and send to a database. RFID is the backbone of the Internet of Things, and it's already big business. For example, Walmart now requires all suppliers to use it to track its products, and the U.S. military uses it to follow supplies around the world.
You've literally got some of the biggest corporations on the globe investing hundreds of millions of dollars already in the infrastructure to make every physical object on Earth trackable. And then you've got the public who really has no idea that this technology is coming.
This tiny tube contains 150 RFID computer chips. Their size means companies or the government can easily hide them. Each chip can give a unique serial number to every product. And then, its antenna helps remote scanners read the RFID tags, even through materials like fabric and plastic.
Right now, everywhere in the United States, it is perfectly legal for a company to place an RFID tag, say, in your shoe, sandwich it between the layers of your shoes. We've seen prototypes of those at trade shows. Sell that pair of shoes to you and use it as a tracking device.
Albrecht, the ACLU, and other civil liberties groups want a public assessment of the technology. But so far, they've found few friends in Washington. Although Bove calls the technology neutral and is quick to praise the benefits, he agrees that consumers need safeguards. For Albrecht, a first step would be labeling all RFID products.
When you really envision a world in which every physical object can be numbered and tracked, a physical world in which people can be numbered and tracked, in which RFID implants can be put into individuals and maybe even in babies at birth, and every move that we make can be identified and logged in a computer database, you begin to raise some very frightening questions, I think, about power.
Θα είναι τώρα 2.000 χρόνια χειμώνας. Θα είναι ένας μακρύς βαρύς χειμώνας. Τελειώνει ένας αιώνας, μπαίνει νέος αιώνας. Γεννάομαι τώρα μοναχός οδηπόρος. Μέσα στο χώρο το χρόνο, μες στον ανθρώπινο φθόνο και δόλο. Να ψάχνω τόπο να σταθώ πάνω από τον κόσμο ψηλά. Να ψάχνω τρόπο να κοιτάξω και να δω καθαρά. Βλέπω ανθρώπους να ζουνε σε παράδοξους κόσμους. Μακριά από τη φύση και τους φυσικούς νόμους. Σε συνθήκες πνευματικούς σκότους. Γεννούν από πόνους και τους μαθαίνουν στους ίδιους σαν φυσικούς τρόπους. Έτσι γεννιούνται και πεθαίνουν δίχως τύψα για γνώση. Κανείς δεν ξέρει να βιώσει, μόνο να επιβιώσει. Αφού αυτά που μαθαίνει είναι αυτά που κρατά. Είναι τα ίδια που περνάνε από γενιά σε γενιά. Η οικογένεια είναι ανίκανη να δώσει παιδεία. Και μια ψευδαίσθηση γνώσης δίνουν απλά τα σχολεία. Και η ψυχαγωγία που δεν άγει τα ήθη. Θα πόνει και κοιμίζει τα πλήθη. Προάγει τη λύθη. Και για να πούμε και τα σίκα σίκα, τη σκάφη σκάφη. Κανείς δεν μπορεί να ψάξει βιβλιοθήκες ράφι ράφι. Και να αναγνώσει γνώση και να διαδώσει μια δόση. Αφού αυτοί που την έχουν σώσει την έχουν κλειδώσει. Και με πληγώνει καθώς βλέπω νεαρές ψυχές να καταστρέφονται λες και δεν βλέπουν τα λάθη του χθες. Από κακές διδαχές, από άγνοια και κακές συμβουλές. Από παράνοια μερικές φορές. Αφού δεν πήραν παιδεία που αποτελεί ιδανικής κοινωνίας στον θεμέλιο λίθο. Επιλέγουν κακία, δεν επιλέγουν την οδό της αρετής όπως ο Ηρακλής στο μύθο. Δεν βλέπουν ψηλά, δεν βλέπουν και επόμενες γενιές ψηλά. Αφού δεν πήραν παιδεία είναι ένας παύλος κύκλος. Μας εγκλωβίζει και μας κοβιλίζει σαν να είναι κυκλώνας. Και θα είναι ένας μακρύς βαρύς χειμώνας. Θα είναι τώρα 2.000 χρόνια
More now of our special coverage here tonight, life in the U.S. in 10 years' time. By that time, there may be all kinds of new ways to safeguard and identify all those things that make each of us unique, our faces, even our fingerprints, even our eyes. Here now with more on the future of technology, NBC's Tom Costello.
The year is 2017. You're rushed to a hospital unconscious with no ID or medical history, but thanks to a microchip under your skin, it's all there. Science fiction 20 years ago, but a biometric reality today.
The technology is based on answering one simple question. Am I who I say I am?
Already, fingerprints and iris scans verify passenger identities at airports. Within 10 years, that technology may be even more widespread. And look for more complex facial recognition programs that scan a crowd of thousands looking for a single terrorist. Today's facial recognition software starts with the eyes. Then it maps out the contours of the face and compares that against a database of millions, a database that's growing by the day. What's next? At the University of Bath in England, researchers predict big changes for consumers.
I think it is possible to free us completely of our wallets and keys using biometric technology, if that's what people want in 10 years' time.
In fact, it's already here. The latest home security locks use fingerprints to control deadbolts. And at the Jewel Osco grocery store in Chicago, some customers pay using their fingerprints. No paper or plastic.
You don't really need anything other than your hand, and you already got that with you.
So will future department stores scan our irises, like in the movie Minority Report, then offer products catered to who we are?
Hello, Mr. Yakamoto. Welcome back to the Gap.
Experts say that technology is here now. The challenge is to safeguard our privacy in a brave new world. Tom Costello, NBC News, Alexandria, Virginia.
The nice thing about RFIDs now is they're cheap enough and they're multi-purpose. So basically, like, I have in my very wallet here, I have to the workshop an RFID card. You know, I never actually take it out of my wallet. I have a little white plastic card. Now, if you're going to use something like this at home, you don't actually need to buy a second RFID. So one of the things you could do is use an RFID reader like this, and use your existing work card, and you would just program the microcontroller to use your existing work card to recognize this card, and now open your door, open your refrigerator, let the dog out, you know, however you want. So in the long run, you know, years from now, you might have one RFID card which is keyed to your person, and then opens up both your work doors, your car doors, your home doors.
I don't know what if you get fired? Then they take your RFID tag from work, and are you locked out of your house?
Well, no, because you're controlling your house. Basically, what you're really controlling, and this is where reprogrammable RFID tags come into play, is that basically something like that can be used, you know, for multiple purposes. In this case, if I program this microcontroller to recognize that RFID serial number, I can use it for anything. Now, if work takes it away, all I have to do is get a reprogrammable one that with the same number on it, and then I'm still using it. There's a lot of different things you can do with this.
One of
bringing the virtual world of Facebook into the real world of the village. Every village guest received a wristband holding an RFID microchip that contained their Facebook username and password. On each village attraction, we attached an RFID microchip capable of collecting the user's data and sending it directly back to Facebook, creating a real-time sharing experience for the guests with their Facebook friends. The teenagers, full of excitement, used the wristband non-stop. In addition, the wristband was also used to auto-tag the teenagers in pictures that were uploaded to Facebook online. The experience moved from the world of Facebook into the real world and returned to the virtual world in full capacity.
Our world is undergoing changes. Changes that have a significant impact on our environment. Changes that force us to think in new ways. This also applies to buildings. A study on the future of building technology shows that requirements are undergoing lasting changes. The need for security will play an even greater role in the future. Flexibility and dynamics will be basic requirements for system operation. Maximum efficiency will have top priority, and not only where energy is concerned. In addition, we need to increase comfort for the well-being of users. Only solutions which create the greatest synergies between energy efficiency, comfort, and safety and security will be sustainable over the long term. Solutions that turn buildings into living organisms, networked, intelligent, sensitive, and adaptable. Modularity is one key. Solutions that easily adapt to the changing needs of their operators and users. We achieve maximum compatibility using standardized interfaces. Plug and go. The modules themselves must be flexible as well. Space is divided as needed, assisted by mobile equipment that integrates seamlessly into the logistics concept. A giant step forward toward greater efficiency. Because flexible usage is suddenly possible over the entire life cycle, transportation systems will also be more flexible. Route usage will be optimized, divided into passenger and cargo flows. Destinations will be reached faster, and security-critical areas will be better protected by dynamic route management. Along the way to the future, we will network classic domains completely and intelligently, and we will create synergies that make new functions possible. Energy example. We will no longer focus just on energy distribution. An intelligent energy management system will control the interplay between internal consumers, producers, and the energy mix of public power grids. New types of storage concepts will make it possible to purchase excess energy from the grid at competitive prices. Energy that enables load peaks to be equalized safely and efficiently. Increasing water treatment requirements also offer potential in the truest sense of the word. Additional energy storage is possible through intelligent networking. Consumption optimization will of course also be key. New types of functional construction materials and techniques offer potential in the areas of lighting and climate control. However, the possibilities cannot be fully realized until they are integrated into the building management concept. Intelligent networking of disciplines creates outstanding synergies where security is concerned. Discrete access controls according to the open door concept not only increase security, but also allow for dynamic logistics. People are guided quickly and safely to their destination through personalized assistance. A wide range of control and navigation solutions point the way comfortably and at the same time improve discretion in defined building zones. In the future, we will monitor all media flows, including supply lines. And safety measures will be initiated automatically as needed. Intelligent networking provides maximum security. Occupancy sensors in the lighting system do more than just turn the lights on and off. In an emergency, they also assist in organizing a fast, orderly, and thus safe evacuation. Escape routes are defined according to the situation. Lighting installations operate in emergency mode and point the way dynamically. Acoustic signals and voice prompts provide additional support. Subsystems support the evacuation scenario. Intelligent systems help detect flows of people and separate them when escape routes are about to become overloaded. Intelligent use of installations and networking with the surrounding area allow for information to be exchanged in real time. Only when all systems work together in a network can we meet the security requirements of the future adequately and efficiently. A networked, integrated, and intelligent building management system will be at the heart of the next generation of smart buildings. A building management system for greater efficiency, comfort, and security. On the way to sustainable cities, we are already using our expertise in building technology and the architecture of network systems to connect buildings into building clusters via an IT backbone. And we are achieving significant improvements in energy efficiency. Smart grids and smart consumption will shape the future. Networking city districts and even entire cities will also mean more security. Security that growing urbanization urgently needs. Intelligent, sustainable solutions will shape the future. And the future has already begun.
What happens if you're in a bad accident and can't communicate with emergency workers and doctors? New microchip technology now makes it possible for the emergency room staff to find out about your medical history at the touch of a computer key. In an emergency room, a split-second decision can mean the difference between life and death.
We have to make medical decisions not knowing what medicines you take or what allergies you have.
Hi, Dr. Hamaka. We're going to check your scan today, okay?
Harvard Dr. John Halopka says this radio frequency identification chip may solve that problem. He had it implanted in his right upper arm. A scanner reads an identification number. Those 16 digits are then entered into a secure website where his medical history is stored. EMT worker Brian Orsatti says the chip could help emergency workers.
One of the big things is if you ever have some type of trauma patient where they come in and they're unable to give you their information and or their medical history.
Anyone can get the chip, and while some patients may be concerned about privacy issues, Dr. Halopka says the benefits are clear.
I'm a rock climber, and I believe that if I fall off a cliff and you find me unconscious, the comfort of being able to scan me and figure out who I am outweighs my concern for privacy.
The chip is encased in unbreakable glass and is about the size of a grain of rice. The procedure is done with anesthesia and is relatively pain-free.
It's like putting a knitting needle under your skin.
But in this case, he says getting something under your skin is a good thing.
Younger children will get a small global positioning device hidden in their wristwatch or backpack. And just around the next high-tech corner, an electronic chip like this that can be implanted under your kid's skin.
Let's say children in your community start wearing wristwatches with GPS devices in them. Can't that only be a good thing for the community if it keeps children safe?
I would love that. I mean, what's a parent's fear?
I think it's a parent's obligation to ensure that their children have a chance to mature, to grow, to realize their potential. And if it means it's Big Brother, so be it.
Other little girl, one after another, after another, after another, after another. And parents around America saying, we can't even allow our kids to play in the front yard. Is there anything, technologically speaking, that they can do that could help in a situation like a kidnapping? Is there, for example, a microchip, a watch, a tracking device we can use for our kids?
We are working on a product that we have called internally a PLD. PLD stands for Personal Locating Device, which is an implantable GPS for which our company owns a patent and can be implanted surgically in the clavicle area of a child or someone that you are interested in tracking. It is the first implantable microchip for humans that has multiple security, financial, and healthcare applications.
One thing I would
Something has to change, though. They have to find a better way to identify the bad guys, or the rest of us are going to stay home and watch the world go by on televisions. But we need some system for permanently identifying safe people. Most of us are never going to blow anything up, and there's got to be something better than one of these photo IDs, a tattoo somewhere maybe. The Saudis used an American device to scan the eyes of travelers. I wouldn't mind having something planted permanently in my arm that would identify me. If we don't do something, people are going to stop flying. If they stop flying, and I don't go to the Giants games, it means the bastards have won.
Yep.
We have a Florida family who are really pioneers in a brave new world. They have volunteered to be the first ever to have microchip identification devices implanted into their body.
After 9/11, I was really concerned with the security of my family.
Film. Humans injected with a tiny chip holding the key to all of their private information.
But as you're about to see in our CBS 46 investigation, it's not fiction. In fact, it's being marketed in Georgia as life-saving technology. So why do some experts say it's potentially deadly? CBS 46's Kim Fedek investigates.
It's used in key cards, prepaid tolls, even checked luggage. It's called RFID technology, or radio frequency identification. Small chips that store information.
So, here's the chip.
And now that same technology is literally available in the flesh, with chips injected right into people's arms.
It says it burns a little bit. That's about it.
Atlanta firefighter John Santola was injected with the chip about the size of a grain of rice. When scanned, the number on the chip is linked to a database with Santola's medical history.
I had to go help me in case of emergency.
Santola was chipped when Florida-based VeriChip Corporation set up a booth at an Atlanta firefighter conference. They market the chip primarily for safety reasons, storing medical information for first responders, Alzheimer's patients, even children.
And it is the only product that has been approved by the FDA for this specific purpose.
The FDA approved the use of chips in humans in 2004, but since then it's caused quite a bit of controversy with some consumer groups, concerned about privacy, even health concerns.
These are very powerful tools, especially if they fall in the hands of somebody with political ambitions.
One of the loudest voices of opposition is right here in the Boston area, a Harvard doctor and author of spy chips.
These technologies will not make us safer. I think they'll make us sitting ducks for Big Brother.
Dr. Catherine Albrecht also compiled 16 years of studies she says prove the chip can cause cancerous tumors.
It's clear as day that these tumors were not only malignant, but they metastasize, they spread to the lungs, the liver, the thymus, the brain.
These pictures show the tumors growing around the actual chip in the mice and rats.
Certainly the company, I mean, they've done, I think, a tremendous job of keeping that information under wraps for the last several years.
We sat down with the chief medical officer of VeriChip and asked about the link to cancer in mice.
Yeah, I am not aware. I mean, I would have to take a look at what's out there right now. I'm not aware of any issues at this point.
But weeks later, VeriChip sent 26 pages of literature claiming the incidence of microchip-associated sarcoma in rodents is very low, and claims the mice in at least one of those studies were genetically engineered to be tumor-prone.
No doubt in your mind that this is safe for us medically.
Yes, I mean, from everything that I've seen, it's very superficial. It's been in the animals for 20-plus years.
John Santola won't need to worry about the cancer debate. His chip fell out after 2 days.
Would you get it again?
I would not get it again. To me, this is the future of medicine.
But how far in the future? Well, VeriChip advertises the technology in use at 8 Atlanta area medical facilities, including Crawford Long Hospital, Emory University, and DeKalb Medical Center. But our investigation found that none of these centers are actually using microchip technology.
All right, this next story may sound like something out of, well, a Hollywood thriller. A Saudi inventor has created a killer microchip. It's designed to track terrorists and criminals and, well, you can think of somebody. Not only does it include a GPS device, it also has a lethal dose of cyanide, which can be activated at any time. You get my point? The inventor's bid for a patent has been rejected in Germany. Joining us now. This is pretty macabre, pretty sinister and nefarious. How exactly would this work?
Well, there's a category of technology that involves GPS tracking systems being shrunk down to the size where you could actually implant it surgically. And we've seen a number of applications for this. This is without question the most sinister version of it that I've certainly heard of. You know, and the notion of tracking criminals is not new, but the notion of killing them remotely, I think, is a whole new thing.
Yeah, and Germany says, look, we're not going to approve this. That's because right. For that very purpose. And apparently, in some of the paperwork and applying for the patent, you know, you could track fugitives from justice, terrorists, illegal immigrants, criminals, political opponents, defectors, and Saudi Arabians who don't return home from pilgrimage. It's a little bit wild.
I agree. I mean, the thing about you know, this kind of patent is Germany has very tight laws about making sure that you're not registering something that really is just a bad idea, a scary idea. And in this case, this guy obviously has some very strong feelings about what it would be used for, but it just seems a little outlandish.
Yeah. Well, terrorist groups might be interested. I'm sure they'd be happy to grant their own form of a patent for that.
Sure.
The bigger world, though, of GPS, talk to us about how it's being used to, for example, track sex offenders?
Sure. The Washington State Legislature right now is considering the possibility of registering perhaps 100 sex offenders with a GPS chip that's implanted in their shoulder because they've found that a few of them have been wearing them on their wrists and then have cut them off, which just defeats the purpose. And so, but the larger world of this technology is actually pretty happy stuff. I mean, there is new technology for tracking Alzheimer's patients, you know, who
may wander away.
Right, right.
Sure.
Tracking the vital signs of professional athletes from the sideline. You know, there's been a couple of cases in which, you know, football players have collapsed of heat exhaustion, and seeing the early warning signs of that, there's technology that sort of allows you to do that remotely. You know, even something as benign as keeping track of your dog, you know, a radio frequency tag implanted in your pet, the vet, you know, finds a stray, scans it, and finds its rightful owner in an instant.
Yeah. Do you see an explosion of the use of GPS devices? And obviously a lot of people are concerned about an intrusion of privacy.
Absolutely, sure. I mean, I think that there is a trade-off there, and obviously this you know, the inventor who filed for this patent has gone across the line in terms of privacy. But the use of GPS in the future will allow you to, you know, you'll never lose your wallet again. You'll never lose your keys again. Right. It's that kind of stuff where you're going to, you know, you'll be able to beep any object you own, you know, and find it in the house. And so, you know, there's the vicious expression, and then there's the really, really helpful expression that I think we'll see in the future.
You know, I lose sight.
Έφεξε νέος αιώνας, μα το κακό και το χειρότερο. Πάει του γρούστη μετριότητα, παρέα με πλήξη. Σε ταξίδι, σε δρόμο ευκολότερο. Που η πεζότητα τρέχει, κάνω μια ανοίξη. Κάποιος να τρίξει τα δόντια σ' όσους προτείνουν δικτατορία. Τηλεοπτική για φαβορή, παραπληροφόρηση για να παρατείνουν το μαρτύριο λαέ σου. Μα τι κι αν απορεί το φτωχό το μυαλό σου. Γιατί έκλεψες το ξένο, εγώ επιμένω στη Βαβυλώνα να είμαι εγώ. Κι αν χαθώ θα το κάνω αντρικιά και παραμένω ίσιος που έπεσε λίγο πολύ προς τα δω. Έχω το χρόνο μπροστά μου να σκεφτώ, έχω για μπούσουλα αυτό το γραφτό το καυτό. Έχω μνήμη από το πριν να τη ξοδέψω στο τώρα. Και γνώση για το ποιος δεν ήταν εδώ στην κρίσιμη ώρα. Κακές συνήθειες έτσι κι αλλιώς έχουν όλοι. Μα αν δεν είσαι αυτός που λες θα σε ξεράσει πόλη. κάπου εδώ στη φέξη του αιώνα.
Τυλιγμένος με φωτιά κι αγκαλιά σου Βαβυλώνα.
Η μέρα η καλή απ' το πρωί της φαίνεται. Μας του αιώνα την αρχή ήμουνα μαρτύρας αστείων πραγμάτων. Κι όπως αναμένεται θα είμαστε σε ένα ακόμα αιώνα των μέτρων.